Hello everyone, I welcome you all to Hamburg Farms TV. My name is Sika. Our guest for today is Mr. Frimpong. He's into ginger and coffee farming. I think that's the first time we are actually interviewing a farmer who is into ginger and coffee farming. So we are going to learn a lot today. I'm so ready to learn. Yes, he'll take us through his journey, how he started as farming in Ghana lucrative at all, especially coffee farming. Yes, he'll take us through all that. Stay tuned. After this quick commercial break, he'll interact with us and then get to know more about him and his works. So stay tuned.
Frimpong Frederick is my name, but the name of the farm is Fk Frimpong Enterprise, for which the name I took it from my dad, who is also Frimpong. And in fact, I was nurtured through agriculture. He was taking me to farm at early ages, and that's where I learned the farming from. So going forward, as I proceed in the advanced and the diverse ways of agriculture, then I have to name the name Fk Frimpong Enterprise. Very well. Since I was saying that my root comes from agriculture, this farm community here is Chunkro, and it's a farming community. So when my dad was taking me to the farm, I started getting interest. Even at my tender ages, around age 7, 8, I derived a lot of interest in farming. For now, I do the ginger farm, which is here, coffee and cashew. Also, plantain and cocoyam. All other food stuff that I am able to do. And also, we are also into vegetables, being cabbage, tomato, and others. We don't plant the seed. It's the rhizomes that we plant. And you have to go to buy the quality rhizomes before you can start planting. And this passes through a lot of stages before you get to the final stage of planting. When you go to buy the rhizomes, you have to break it into pieces, for which you have to know that each piece has 1 or 2 buds, and you go to pre-germinate it. That is, you have to cover it at a very cool temperature, and for some weeks or months, you see that it will start sprouting. And that's the reason why when you go to the market, you see some of the ginger sprouting. When you put it in a sack and it gets the necessary conditions for germination, it will start to sprout. And that is almost a pre-germination stage. And from there, then you have to make the farm after making the farm ready and preserving it, you just have to start planting after the pre-germination. I have 3 farm takers, for which I rely on them for my farm activities. Do usually visit the farms. Once farm is about you having a first knowledge about how the things are going, and through that you can assess it, whether you are meeting your target or you are not meeting it. So when you see that, when you don't visit the farm, you don't know the actual problem on the ground. So I do usually visit farms, and my farm visiting is actually a hobby to me. Oh, very well. Like I was telling you earlier on, I learned the farming from my dad, Fk Frimpong. I learned it from him. But well, I got a full interest in it as at 2010, 2011 thereabout, when I started venturing into commercial cabbage farming, chili pepper farming, and also the cocoyam and plantain. For there, I was able to assess the growth and also compare it to the expenditure. And that was the time that I realized that farming, in a way, it comes with a lot of things, but it's lucrative. Farming in itself is an issue of sacrifice and compromise, meaning that it's not everything that you can do. You have to be disciplined. I have my family, I am a government worker, and managing it is not easy. But the little time that I get, take it to farm, monitor, or to work. And that is how I manage the family. At times the family will have issues, and it's fine because of this farming. Actually, managing family, managing government work and this thing, at times there will be some fluctuations, some problems. And well, what will we do? We just have to compromise and also make sacrifices so that at the end of the day, you get your returns. Farming, if you start it and you start to give up, you will not be able to do it because it takes time, it takes effort, sacrifice. So you just have to do it. And I think that's how I'm able to manage it. I go for night shifts, and at times I'm just off. I just have to right from night shift instead of me to take some rest. I don't take it. I sacrifice my sleep. I just get to the farm, and also I'm not. For some time now, I've restricted myself from social programs to enable me to concentrate on the farm, because I think here is where I eat from, and I just have to work it hard so that I get the returns. Let me tell you, these gingers that you see, you can buy one ginger like 1 CD. You can break it into like 10-15 pieces. You plant it, and the returns, you see that it will be huge. You know, it is not, you can't compare it. Just 1 CD, you can get like 6 CDs, and that's perfect. So I don't see that farming is for the poor people, but it is just that we lack planning. We lack planning. You just have to plan it. Farming on its own it's a theory that you just have to learn it and incorporate it. Let it be part of you. Not that the white collar job. Fine, as I told you earlier, I'm a government worker, I'm being paid, but I don't rely on only the government work. This one also brings a lot. So when we say that farming is for poor people, someone will say that, oh, once you're a government worker, you get the farms, you get the funds to support it. But that is not all. You have to work it out yourself. And the returns, if you keep monitoring and you keep things in order, all things being equal, it will never be for the poor people. And it is not for poor people. When there is a problem, as I told you earlier on, that's before you can identify the problem, you just have to be closer to your farm, monitoring. You monitor, so when the problem starts to erupt, being it pests, being it fungi, being it anything, you have a first knowledge about it, and you apply it, and it will work it out for you. But if you don't visit the farm and you say that there will be a problem, by the time that you go there and you see the problem, everything is spoiled already. So how can you do that? So you monitor it. When you see a small problem, then you start to manage it, and you get a result. We don't have any price control. If there is price control for farmers, in fact, it would have been perfect for us. and that discourage a whole lot of young men. You plant the things, the market women, they come in with their own price, and in fact, at times, it's very worrying. It's very worrying. You see that they are cheating you. Some kind of perishable vegetables like tomato, pepper, those ones. When you harvest it and you don't sell it, it will go bad. So when the market woman comes and say that, oh, I'll give you 1 cedi, and you say, I'll not sell it, what are you going to do with it? There is nothing you can do about that. So you just have to sell it out. And that discourages a whole lot of farmers. I think measures should be put in place to enable the farmers and encourage them to do a lot, and the young men to also have interest in it, because when such a thing happens, it discourages you, the farmer, and it will not give you the moral right to educate or to introduce another young man into farming, because you yourself, you are falling. How can you hold somebody up? The farmers are there, rural areas like this. To convince them to form a group, it's not easy. Or to organize yourselves, it's not easy. So here is it that every farmer is doing his own thing. But if we all come together to form an association, it can help us in so many things. We can control the prices ourselves. But here is the case that we don't have that. So we do it. If you go to market and you run at a loss, you keep it yourself, and it's not helping at all. So I will prefer that we come into that consensus that every farmer, the farmers, and at times too, the problem is that to convincing them, as I told you earlier, and for them to consent, it's not easy. But if they are ready and we all come together, I think we can fight for a very good thing for ourselves, and also the taming youth, so that they can also have the interest to farm. 8 to 10 months after planting, it will germinate, and in about, if it were all things being equal, you getting rains or getting the enough irrigation, at most 2-3 weeks it will start sprouting, and from there it will take like 5 to 8 months, 10 months, as I told you earlier, all things being equal. I'm working on a land size of close to 10 acres, that is 5 hectares. Actually, as I was telling you earlier, my dad gave some lands to me, and also through that I've been able to buy some lands myself, and at times we hire some and we work on it. So that is how I go about it. The farms, in fact, my dad gave me land size to farm on it, for which I'm also working on it. So that is it. When I started these farms, I think 6 years ago, 7 years ago, some prices of the chemicals, fertilizers, the agrochemicals that we buy, now if you compare it, the pricing increase is more than 250%. And in fact, it's not easy at all. If there could be a way to sort things out, or to at least reduce the prices for the plants, for the agrochemicals, I think it will help. In fact, the price increase is making the work very, very tough, and it's making things uneasy for us. For ginger, if you harvest a ginger on a piece of land, you have to follow it for another 5 years before you can plant another ginger. And thereby you have to plant the other things. If you are only still working on the land, you have to plant other things also to, make the land fine. And if not, you can follow it, that's also fine. So in fact, labor too is a problem, and also expensive nowadays, because looking at how the prices increase of goods, and also general price increase, I think they also increase their charges every day, and there is nothing you can do about that. Meanwhile, like I was telling you, you go to the market, and if you don't meet a good market, then it means you are running at a loss. For ginger, what you have to do is uh, it has to get it should get the necessary weather condition. That is, it needs rain. That is water. So you have to irrigate it, and the land too is a factor. You don't have to plant that waterlogged areas because it will not do well there. You have to get a rich loamy soil to plant it, and on that one too, you have to like if there are prowess, you should do prowess. No, not that then they have to work on the land for it to for you to be able to work on it and for the plants to do well.
Many of us have no knowledge about how coffee is being planted and harvested. So Mr. Frimpong will do us the honor of demonstrating how coffee is being planted and harvested as well. Stay tuned and enjoy the process.
This is the other farm, the coffee farm that I was talking about. So here is the coffee. You see that it has a lot of berries on it. Some is that some is that at the stage of ripening. That means it should be ready for harvest. These ones are the green ones, and these green ones, this one is has started to become brown, meaning that the cherries are matured and will get ripe very soon. And you see, so in doing the coffee or planting the coffee tree, you can plant plantain, other stuffs for the meantime. As the plants start to grow, you see that the coffee or the cash crop start to grow, it will overcome the plantain and those stuffs. So you see all these places we are having plantain here. But for now that the trees are becoming bigger, some is dead, and we have to relocate some here to continue the planting tree. So this is how the coffee farm too is. Oh, in harvesting, when it is ripe, like let me show you one that is fully ripe. You just have to lay a mat or joint sacks that are being sewed together under it, and you start to pull it on it. When it is full, then you bag it. So this is how it is. This one, it's almost 80% ready for harvest. You can harvest all because it is assumed that all the green ones are also matured, just that they are not ripe. And so that is the coffee farm too, how we do harvest it. So after harvesting, you take it home to dry. You dry it for, like, if you get sunshine, you do the traditional way of drying it. So then you have to get the sunshine for at least 6 days, and it will be well dried. We are not into exports for now. We sought to partner, or we sought to give our products to indigenous Ghanaian firms or Ghanaian processors for them to process it so that we can use it. And in any way, we have plans of exporting some, and that one too, we are still underway. To go out to the market to search for people. At times too, you'll be there and a buyer will come. But you see, the buyers, they come with their prices, and we don't have price control over it. They come, they say, when they say a kilo is 5 cedis, there is nothing you can say about it because we can't process it. The farm is not all that small. We can't process it locally and be selling it. It comes with a huge quantity, for which we need indigenous processing companies to buy. and that one I think it will help than we going into the market with a smallholder buyers, and they can't pay, or they can't give a price that is suitable or that would be good for you. So that is the challenge we have with the coffee too. Before it will be ready, you have to go for hulling. That is, you remove all this. You remove the outer shell from the seed. The seed itself is inside. So even this green one, you can see that there is a coat, and this is the seed itself. So when it's dry, when it is dried, it will become black, and you get this seed. And that is the series of coffee. So it's this one that you have to like you just have to process it by putting it on fire for some time, and after that you go to blend it, whether with a corn mill or any other thing, and it's ready. You can just use it. And the local people, they do use it, because when it's assumed that when you use it, it serves as a stimulant. It can help you to work out the whole day without getting tired. Well, I think before you be awarded, you have to pass through process. That is, you should be recommended by the Agric extension officer at your area, and I think from there you pass through another processes to be rewarded. But well, this is the case that at times you don't get the extension officers as you want, and before you get the extension officers, you yourself, you have to seek for their recommendations, or you have to seek for their support. You have to engage them for them to give you some practical ideas and technical ideas about the farming, and that is how you do it. And I think if the government opens up the awarding system, it will also encourage the teaming youth, like you, like me and others. We will see that like hard work pays, as you said already, and this will enable us to thrive and also encourage others to also venture into agriculture, which is the backbone of the economy. Every plant needs fertilizer, and the fertilizer too, if the land, you need it when the land is not fertile. So when the land is fertile, I don't think you have to go in for fertilizer. But when you see that the land is not fertile enough and you go for fertilizer too, that one too is perfect. And you see, these coffees are very young. It's very young, and it's doing well. So we don't use fertilizers as at now, whether organic or the organic one is what we are using. But the chemical ones, we don't use it. We just only weed and direct, and we keep it. When you plant the nursery, it will take you like 3 years before it starts to bear the coffee seeds. That is the cherries. And it will start small like that from 3 years. You won't get the first year you don't get any huge harvest. The second year it will increase. The third year it will increase, and the third year will be the seed year of the coffee. And this coffee is doing well this year, because this year is the seed year of the coffee plant, and it is doing well. And if there is a proper farm hygiene, that is weeding, controlling of pests and other things, every year the yield will increase. So it gets to its 8%, you know, and that's what happens. Oh, it's not every soil that can grow coffee. Coffee requires loamy and a land that's like, it shouldn't be waterlogged. The land should be free of continuous waterlogging, meaning that even if it is irrigation, you don't have to irrigate it all the time. So it does well and I think in the forest areas is where coffee does well. As you know, here too is a coffee forest area, and the plants do well. The labours, we rotate them. Since the farm is not one, this when the workload is here, the workload here is down, we move them to another farm for them to work there. From there to another farm, and before they return, then there is another work too to do at the farm here. So that is how we do. We don't just take them. Once the workers are there, we just rotate them for everything to move on as expected. It is costly, but in anything when doing, you have to do the profit analysis of it. You should compare the work to the work input to the work output. When they read it, are you going to get the returns? Or when they read it, you're not going to get the returns. When they read it, and let's say you spend like 5,000 a year, and you get like 10,000, 15,000. I think the 5,000 or the 10,000 will be your profit. Even though it's costly, I think managing labor is not easy. But we pray and always true by the help of Jehovah. We're always true, and we are on course. They are in the community. So what we do is that when there is work here, we just move them there. We are planning to get them accommodation here, and this work is work in progress. The business is in progress. The farms, we are just trying to expand it, and all necessary things that will help us to move forward. I think we are just planning to do it. Getting them a home on the farm, I think, will also help and increase yield and also increase the work output. And that is what we are expecting, and that is what we will be doing in the years to come. To my colleague youths, what I will tell you is that venture into agriculture, even though it takes time, but let's try to do something. When you plant one tree today, the results will be great. Let's not say that we all want white collar job, because after the white collar job, we go home, you have to eat. So let's all get to the ground and we just start to do something. And farming it is sacrifice. Let's sacrifice to feed ourselves and also feed our family and the nation as well. And that is what Fk Frimpong we are centered on, is that we will always try to expand farms, make new projects, new plans, and that is what we want to do to make our living better. I think the farming changes lives. The returns are huge, and it is lucrative. We can all join hands and also work as farmers. You don't have to be shy when going to farm. You have to be happy when going to farm. Farm, as we were once told, is for the poor or for the illiterate or no. Now, farming is not like that. We can do research ourselves, do other things to improve farming. Extension officers are there, we can engage them, and we can do something to help ourselves, our community, and the nation as well. The number for Fk Frimpong is 059 862 4226. Here is the number that if you want any farm advice, being farm management, any other thing, you can just consult us. We are like a consortium. You can come to ourselves, or you can come to us for farm advices, all other things, and that is what we are doing. So anybody who is interested in our service can contact Fk Frimpong, as earlier said, 059 862 4226. This is our number.
Wow, such an interesting story. I'm definitely going for a cup of coffee after this show. Keep supporting Hamburg Integrated Farms. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. My guest for today was Mr. Frimpong. He's into coffee farming. My name is Sika. See you next time. Keep supporting us. Bye.